Bum, 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 bum. If we're to enter Numerion's restricted archive, with a minimum of funds, then we must secure the permission of the forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one's springs. I'm thinking Cryle. Scholar Archmonic Tongues. Oh. He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry after all. Tis settled. Let us head to Phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Sure. Don't forget, we have to go here after we're done the quest line. A mission in Mordor? Oh, that's the, okay. Can we use... Okay. Discuss the studium. I apprenticed to Master Batoya at the age of 7 and labored under her tutelage for a full decade. I never had the chance to attend the studium. Neither did Banquet, as I recall. Soon after, Master Loiswa took him in off the streets. He was put in the care of another Archon. He was a rigorous and practical education. His was a rigorous and practical education in the art of espionage and survival. I sometimes wonder what my life would have been like had I pursued studies here instead. Tea at the last stands after studies? Oh, that does sound lovely. Afternoons with friends spent sipping tea and debating theories. Still, I wouldn't give up my life with Macedonia for the world. The dark cave I studied was about as far from the bright, airy halls of academia as one could get. But it was wondrous. Magical childhood, nonetheless. Huh? Nope, not this way. Wait. Pray forgive the intrusion, Scholar Ark, but we were hoping you might help us secure permission to enter Nominal's restricted archives. Oh, no further forays into the stacks this time? I applaud this newfound sense of prosperity. Yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Darmanier has lain dormant in Charlie's archive for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void. That is, in fact, precisely what we intend. To what end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift, for one, that I might keep a word to a distant friend. Sentimentals aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future, and yet I want to understand everything. To unveil it all down to its very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void gate or two if the grand revelation was the promised reward? Marvelous. And a source's proposal worthy of Mass Victoria herself. And after hearing the whys and the wherefores, I for one do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. I see no reason not to present you requests for the firm's consideration. Hmm. Although your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. Why, Master Fortunat? Oh, oh, for shit. Of course, he can hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there's no denying that having Master Fortunat on our side will tip the balance in our favor. Very well, we will pay a visit to the Levier estate and plead our case. One last thing before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as essential as yours, I wager. So, if you could see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity? Of course, Art. We would be sure to pass on any revelations. Alright, Leviathan's estate, huh? Excuse me. Bum, bum. Gonna be honest, that Halfguard can heal me anytime. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ah, Master Ronald, Mistress Yostola, how may I be of service? We could come to speak with Master Fortunat. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Ah. Well, well. Journalists would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. You have some matter of import to discuss. Then pray proceed. You have my full attention. Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Scholar Monica, she expressed much the same sentiment. I assure you, we will not attempt to circumvent the forum's authority again unless it is absolutely necessary, of course. Of course. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? If no present needs exists, then why risk the consequences of employing this forbidden knowledge? For a brother who misses his sister, you was his guardian and his friend, a selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing of in his heart. Tis no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Reflections are still very much a mystery of us. Offering to share your experience in the first should constitute a fair exchange of for our cooperation. Do not celebrate yet yet. The forum must still be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at the Valdesian Annex. Wait, what am I doing? So, what did the forum decide? To put it bluntly, Mesopotamia has burned some bridges here in Shoreland and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that her student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms, I might add, of the incredible debt we owe to you and your companions. That served to silence the grumbles or to stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return. That's wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. As well, as I'm sure you're aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it's not. I wish you well in your endeavor and bid you good day. We're doing this. How about just saying that one? Uncompromising? Uncompromising. But that very Stoticums is exactly what Charlene needed to guide it through not one but two exoduses. Stola! That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes for getting my hands on those forbidden tomes, and now I can simply walk in through the door. Our focus will be on finding House Donors research sites, of course, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a little giddy. I might be able to. Who knows? Maybe they have something in there to travel through the stars even better. You'll be heading directly to the archive from here, I presume? Yes. Then you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. It was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Shall we? Yes. Let's go. Discuss. To think the set of instructions I laughingly imagine may actually exist but yams away from where you found me napping. If I had known of Azadel's the bird's exploits sooner, I could well have saved myself days of research. Even a children's book may have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must need be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom. A lesson I had already learned, but clearly did not take it, but not taken to heart. Oh, I gotta find the index page. Ah, the index. Oh, it's a person. Oh, it's a mammal. Archival and guest identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted areas? Archives. Whoops. And follow me if you would watch your step, and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. Wait, what was that lap? Make it famous. Whoa. More books.
If House Damia's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
Don't they have like an index? Like a little... Don't they have like a category book or something here? What's this? Today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren, eyes blazing not with hunger but trembling, like a candle's flame threatening to flicker out at any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential, significant even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite, transcendent being. That sounded like... Wait. In the year 1564 of the Sixth Astral Era, the Ajama summoned the Freet, their patron god. Accounts describe the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with a potent command of fire aspect magics. If we consider that primal summoning is an act full by faith and prayer, it is unsurprising, if not expected, that the resulting deiform entity should manifest the appearance and powers with which it is attributed by its worshippers. What then might emerge from the ether should one who believes in an almighty omniscience attempt the same ritual? Would the scholar himself grant us his presence, some other embodiment of divine? Could this man-made God truly be all-knowing? And if it were, whence would such knowledge arise? I myself have many questions concerning the nature of the ancient world. With no spells to transport me back to the days of old, could I instead summon a being possessed of encyclopedic wisdom of every age, yet with no means to verify its pronouncements? How could one be certain they were true? No. The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rift-spanning apertures as devised by Nepsa, the ninth patriarch of House Demare. We present these research notes to the faculty of Charlian Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. Here. Oh no! I wanted to see them all. There's so much stuff here. Have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies. I flipped open, but a single book was completely absorbed by its contents. Well done, Ronald. I think you may have found our prize. Yay!
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damia's resonance many times at the Great Work.
Oh.
Time to see what all the fuss was about.
Oh my god, it's Atmos.
Among the ranks of the Void Sent, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as Atomos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures. A talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure.
You caught
Our
one?
findings revealed that the Atomos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate. Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial Atomos.
What? They made their own Atomos. That's insane. That just sounds wrong.
How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon Void Scent, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of Atomos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales.
Heard them. It's more than that. I fought them.
And still, House Damia went and built a mock Atomos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves. Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Well, we could just say we kind of need this knowledge for future use in case something happens. I'm just saying. Eorzea has been. Oh, we got new and then a codex. Hide a land. The reflection for spirit ether. Oh, lore and story. As much as I would love to start crafting the Animos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Actually, we know a heinous alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our house project. Our business here is concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message has been conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron mode disabled. Security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nehana can. I say we return to Fafnir and look for her at the Great Work. Like a little longer than I thought. But this is big. This is a lot of stuff. Your stoller tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study. Oh, wait. Oh, no, wait. Okay. I've no doubt you will be interested. This research log should speak for itself. Well, and now. By the sisters, this is the mark of House de Mare. I never knew such a hork existed. You should. It is It was sequenced in Nomura's restricted archives, after all. What? But that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome filled with precision research, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand. I can hardly wait to read it. It's like, oh no, you gave me a forbidden book. Oh, I can't wait to read this nonsense. To think the Demonera were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries, I wonder? Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new mock? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a project has even the redoubtable scholars of Charlene trembling in our sandals? No alchemist of the great work could resist. You are a woman after my own heart. Oh my god. And I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big-mouthed simulacrum once we build it? So, there's a secret void gate, and it's built in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelations indeed. That the purpose of our man-made Atmos is to expand this hidden portal. Then I will need to see it for myself, I think. Manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. Then by all means accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly once we finish gathering the components I require. Charlian's market provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals, but I might need help obtaining a small quantity of astrally infused water. For such a liquid, you need to go further than the Fonta Maya. Yes, the ascetics of old once favored the place for their meditations. And the water which pool is there now is known for enlivening the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I will petition Vitra to join us. The idea I have in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the void gate. Shall we be about it then? We meet back here and Oh, we're going to. Oh. I think we're getting closer to the end. Yeah, I could just look at. I think it's this quest and then another one. No. At the end, this is the 8th. There's 2 more quests. Because it's 10. Do you have that class for me? Yes. Nice. This should suffice. Thank you, Ronald. Void Theory. Look who I came across. Estidian seemed in need of diversion. And we, in turn, may have need of his lands. Right then. Now that our little party is assembled, let us make our way to the ruins. Will we have need of Matsuya's boat again? Not this time. Once Solo informed me of our destination, I arranged for a vessel to be made ready, and I know. Exiting as ever the gracious host, shall we? Perfume rise. The ship is yours to command. Our thanks. We shall set sail at once. Oh, this is so exciting! As Adele's legacy, to see the truth of a legend with my own eyes. All aboard for the treasure vault. We're gonna get words.
The ruins alone were impressive enough, but I never dreamed such a treasure lay hidden in the depths of the bounty. It may have been helpful to know this device existed, Your Excellency.
My apologies. The gate was a secret I shared with none but my closest advisors. I feared for what might happen should those with ill intentions learn of its existence.
Let's keep.
What is it you're doing now?
Something
I
dumb.
wish to verify. The NOAA reports claim that a short stint into the void carries little risk of etheric imbalance. Should one suffer an injury, however, or if one's expedition drags on longer than intended, that risk becomes significantly greater. Gra has theorized that a warding scale would confer protection from the void's corrupting influence. But I would prefer to test that hypothesis before we set foot in the 13th ourselves.
So, this is an experiment of sorts.
Yes, an experiment. Tell me, how would you go about testing the efficacy of the warding scale?
Chuck it in. Maybe send a familiar? Or you're probably gonna send me.
Very good. I see you've been paying attention. As Ritra sent his simulacrum, so too shall we rely on a familiar to bear the brunt of any unpleasant consequences.
Well, I can tell you this much. You can send a Porksy in.
Now, a lowly imp can navigate a creature, no matter how narrow. Which means an arcane entity of similar stature should be able to manage the same. I hadn't wanted it to come to this, but no other familiars will do, I'm afraid.
You're not the type to call familiars.
I mislike the sound of that. What manner of fiend does she mean to summon?
From ocean rise and cloudbank form, from mountain spring and rainfall storm, from river flow and life be born.
What is happening?
Water, frost, and fire!
A pixie. It's either a pixie or thing more.
Ready your arms. I fear she's been possessed.
Nope.
Oh, come now. That was adorable.
Oh! Nixies! Remember you guys?
Though not my first choice. These familiars I conceived of as a child have the best chance of fitting through the gate. I only wish my younger self had considered a more dignified ending to the creation ritual.
Wow.
In any case, these two should serve as well. This one will bear a warding scale. And when they return from the 13th, we can observe how the talisman, or absence thereof, has affected the progress of the Void's corruption. If I could impose upon you to open the gate. Your Excellency?
Ah, yes, of course.
We should also be wary of void scent slipping through while we conduct our experiment. Estinian, you are to keep Nadana safe from harm.
As you say.
You had best be on your guard as well.
We'll be fine. Wow, foam.
Oh, are you volunteering to join the Nixies? I could shrink you down, you know.
Might be interesting.
Let us begin, shall we? I think we've waited long enough. Nixies, return to my side. Thank you, little one. You did well.
The poor thing. Its essence has been irrevocably warped.
We're out of time. I must reseal the void gate.
They're coming through!
Why, we're here.
In the name of Al-Zadal III, I bar this door unto the void.
Well, that was a sharp lesson in the dangers of void gates.
Yes, yes, it was.
And what of our experiment? Say the results speak for themselves.
The unprotected Nixie has suffered extensive etheric corruption. As Nidana observed, it's well on its way to becoming a void scent. The one merged with the talisman, however, appears unaffected. I sense no changes to its equilibrium. Rest now, little ones.
Graha's theory was correct, then.
So it would seem that while our second familiar was untouched by void energies, the talisman itself shows signs of degradation. It was, of course, originally designed to shield the soul from primal tempering. It stands to reason that etheric corruption of a different sort would affect it differently. We may need to modify the warding scale's design to account for the 13th's uniquely unstable ether.
You've said much of the Void's instability, but my imagination fails me. What manner of place is this broken world?
Ah, my apologies. I forget that not all of us spend our days sequestered in dusty archives. The 13th is a reflection of the source that was drowned in a flood of darkness. In Emmett Selk's own words, this tragedy was a result of the Ascians' attempts to force a rejoining. They erred in their haste, and made of that world a useless void. You remember Unakalhai, the unusual child we met during our troubles with the Warring Triad?
Yeah.
He explained the fate of the 13th thus. The champions of that ill-fated world used the stone known as Auracite to contain the power of primals. But those self-same heroes were gradually corrupted by the Auracite's bleeding energies, transforming into fiends with an endless hunger for ether. By the time anyone thought to oppose them, Light's strength had grown too feeble, and the balance of the 13th tipped into eternal darkness. It was Elidibus, as I recall, who rescued Unakalhai's spirit from his final battlefield. But I wonder if there were others whom the emissary saved from oblivion.
The barmaid. That's Arbert's companion. So you only get this information if you do the role quest in Shadowbringers.
Warriors of Light. And you say she was another of Elidibus's pawns? I see. So Ciela, or rather Silver, was beguiled by the same dreams of heroism as Unakalhai. And what of your own experience? Will you tell us of what you observed during Noah's expedition? I can picture it now. The sunless, Stygian expanse, infested with legions of ether-starved monstrosities. A void in every sense of the word.
What you have described in such lurid detail is exactly why I hesitate to encourage you.
Worry not, great Vritra. Our journey into the 13th is but the first leg of a longer voyage. A voyage that shall lead us to other reflections, to new mysteries and discoveries. And I mean to be there every step of the way. But first I must focus on refining the warding talisman.
Then I can begin work on constructing an artificial Atomos. Or I could if I had the relevant manuals to hand. Might I be so bold as to request access to the Satrap's family archives?
He's gonna say no.
Your Excellency?
Oh, yes. That can be arranged. I will speak to my officials upon our return.
We will see you back in the city then.
He's thinking about it again.